Hi there and welcome to the Cityline.ca book club. For the past 6 weeks, we've been reading Born Weird by Andrew Kaufman. And we have some of our Cityline staffers here and we're going to talk a little bit about the book. So my first question to everyone, who is your favorite member of the Weird family and why?
I loved Angie. I felt for Angie. Angie's a crybaby. She's super sensitive. She forgives everyone, and I felt her frustration in having to forgive these horrible people in her life constantly, and then having these relationships that were just built on this crazy, disadvantageous power thing. You know, like she would just forgive, and so she was used constantly. And then I was kind of frustrated with her because of the way she treated her husband, although I understood why she had to do it. So I loved Angie.
Okay, I'm trying to remember everybody. I think my favorite was Angie as well, and for those reasons. I really liked how sensitive she was, how she tried to deal with situations. It was very hard for her, and the way she dealt with them, I kind of understood.
Kaufman told the story through alternating perspectives from different members of the Weird family. Do you think this benefited the book?
I think so. I think that, you know, the book has such a diverse cast of characters. They're all very unique. They all have, you know, so much that we can all have different favorite characters because they're all really interesting in their own right. So I think that by having, you know, alternating chapters being from focusing on different characters, it really helped us get inside their minds, especially since their minds are a little strange given their blur scenes. You know, how do you really understand a girl who has to forgive everybody? And how do you understand someone who always, you know, no matter what, he always needs to be safe? You know, how do you understand that and get inside that without seeing the characters? So I think that really helped make some kind of weird characters seem a little more normal to us.
I grew up in a very large family. I'm the last of 8 kids. So I found it interesting because I have my perspective on my siblings. I found it very interesting to be able to find out exactly what they were thinking themselves. It's an interesting way when you're from a large family, how you interact, but to see how they feel about it was just an interesting idea. So I really liked that.
All right, now, did the Weirds develop as people throughout the journey that they go on together? You know, do you think, did you like them more or less by the end of the book?
You know, there was something about the characters. Usually in every book, I find a way to sympathize with the characters, and except for Angie, I had a really hard time understanding why they were mistreating this sister so much and why there was just so much coldness between them. And there were all of these crazy life-changing events happening in their stories, and I just felt like they should have been supporting each other as siblings. I don't know if this just goes back to my mom making my sister and I feel so terrible every time we fight, but there's just something awful to me about siblings that can't support each other. So at the end, it was such a mind flip for me to see the Blursings lifted and to see how that changed their characters so profoundly. That moment when Angie's in the car and she has to really think about forgiving her father, even though her Blursing has been taken away, and each sibling goes into the car to talk to her, I was almost in tears. It was such a huge change from the characters I thought they were at the beginning of the book. So for sure, I saw a major development in the characters, and I loved them by the end. Even the father, all of these unforgivable acts, and then all of a sudden, there was a justification for them. So I definitely grew to love them at the end.
I want to ask Tracy and Carolyn, so you even forgave their father, Tracy?
I even forgave the dad. I was like, how could you be so crazy to do this to your own children? But in the end, I just realized people, like desperate times call for desperate measures for some people, and there's no accounting for how their mind might work. But the importance was that moment. So the importance was right now, right here, and what I'm feeling. And what I'm feeling is a lot of hurt for what I've done to you, and I can't correct it. So can you relieve me of this guilt? And you know, I sort of felt like Angie, can you do it or not? And I felt like I can do it. I can love the dad. Like it was a terrible, awful thing you did, but I forgave the dad in the end as well.
I actually had another question that I wanted to pose to the group. Why was the shark the way she was? Was that ever explained? Was she just kind of a nasty individual? Was there ever any motivation for, you know, why she doled out these Blursings? That was something that maybe was never clear to me. I don't know if you guys have thoughts on that.
I just want to say one thing that when I interviewed Andrew Kaufman when he came in here, he actually said that I asked him if any of the Weird family, any of the inspiration came from his own family, and he said mostly no, except for the shark was a dead ringer for his own grandmother. I don't know if that's a really answer for you, but as a side note.
I was just going to add, I thought the shark was actually well-intentioned when she gave out her blessings. So I didn't think she was 100% evil as well, and I think it's kind of nice that they tried to show all these flawed characters, but then in the end they also tried to show the other side of their flaws. So, because that's life, right?
Now, what did you think about Andrew Kaufman's writing style? Would you read another one of his books in the future?
I have to say that even though I didn't love Born Weird, I have a huge appreciation for it just on account of its originality. I mean, a few of us were talking about this before. I mean, I've never read anything quite like this. The whole blessing curse thing that Carolyn was mentioning, the characters themselves, and I mean, he's so clever, and there's so many things that they go through that just, you know, it's just, where did he come up with these ideas? So I think just in terms of appreciation for his originality, there's so many stories that are derivative and just things that you've read before. I have never read anything like this before, so on that basis alone, I would absolutely give more of his work a chance for sure.
Well, I actually have read one of Andrew's books before. I've read his first novel, All My Friends Are Superheroes, and it's one of my favorite books, and I strongly recommend it. So if you like this book, I suggest you go read that as well. It's a short read. It's only 100 pages, but it's a lot of fun. It's really good.
All right. Well, thanks very much, ladies, for your input on this book. For those of you watching at home, you can go to the bottom of this post, leave your comment about the book, and you can have a chance to win a prize from Random House Canada, the publisher of Born Weird. And our next book is Caught by Lisa Moore. For all things Cityline Book Club, go to cityline.ca/book club. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.